Music's been an influence on my art for years, whether it's images inspired by lyrics or me doing portraits of musicians I love from punk, from hip hop, but really to bring together art and music in a way that was more well-rounded was something I'd never actually done until I decided to do an art show called Sound and Vision. And the concept was really to not only do stuff inspired by music, but to work with my favorite DJ and producer, DJ Z-Trip, have him create a soundtrack riffing off of all the different inspirations for the visual art. I also shipped over 1,000 of my own records to London for the show and created a record store installation with turntables and headphones where people could take my vinyl collection. Some of the record sleeves were signed by people like DJ Shadow or Malcolm McLaren or Chuck D, and they could take those records and they could listen to them. And I looked at it in much the same way that I look at street art. When I put a piece of art on the street, it's a gift to the public. And though I wasn't literally giving my records away, I was sharing them, and people said, oh my God, some of these records are really rare, they're signed by important people, how are you gonna let the public just handle them? Stuff might get stolen. I said, because that's what art is about. It's about sharing things with an audience and you know, finding common ground and common inspiration and pushing culture forward. I'm artist, activist, and DJ Shepard Fairey, and you're watching Crate Diggers. You're now about to witness the strength of street knowledge. I think I have about 4,000 records. I got into music as a kid, I think like most people do, listening to the radio. My parents had a small record collection. They had some Rolling Stones, Diana Ross, Beatles, Johnny B. Good, Chuck Berry, which great record, I actually still have it. Mostly, I just listened to FM radio. I had a small radio in my room, and whatever struck me, struck me. And my parents knew that I always loved music. When we were in the car, I wanted the radio on. When I was in my room drawing or working on model airplanes, I wanted the radio on. And you know, eventually when I started to earn a small allowance, I started to collect records. Very first record I ever bought, this is pretty embarrassing, was YMCA by the Village People. And it was in the store in Charleston, South Carolina, where I grew up, not a super culturally progressive place. And I walked into the record store and they had all the top 20 45s in a row. YMCA was number 2, not number 1. And I said, there must be some mistake here. I'm sorry, but this is clearly the best song in the world right now. One of the next records I really remember buying was Joan Jett's I Love Rock and Roll. And I remember that the 45 of that was pressed super loud. And I loved that because I didn't have a really powerful stereo. So compared to ELO or any of the other stuff that my parents had or my sister had, I Love Rock and Roll, that crisp snare sound at the beginning, boom, so loud. Tom Tom Club, Genius of Love is on this record, and that is a track that sort of took what the Talking Heads were doing, because Chris and Tina from the Talking Heads are in this band. Sly and Robbie were part of the rhythm section, and that's been sampled by ODB, Mariah Carey, so on and so forth. Grandmaster Flash for It's Nasty. Great record, and somebody's gonna say it should be in new wave or it should be in funk. I'm putting it in hip hop. We're in my DJ Lair. It's in a top secret bunker 50 feet beneath the Earth's surface somewhere in Los Angeles. I organize my stuff in a few different ways. I've got some stuff alphabetically, some stuff as favorites, some stuff by beats per minute. I wish there were more of a method to the madness. You know, I've got punk and indie, 80s and disco, hip hop and funk, my favorite rock, compilations, beats 80 to 92 BPM, 93 to 99, 100 to 105, 105 to 110. Yeah, this is all alphabetical. Black Sabbath, Beck, Jeff Beck, the Bee Gees, Chaos, all these old 7 inches. And you know, I'll probably never DJ with those, but it's just stuff that I've collected over the years because I like the bands, I like the music. You get all sorts of people arguing about which record should be in which thing. Should James Brown be in soul or funk? It depends which year, man. A lot of it's debatable. New wave. No, Blondie's not new wave. They should go in indie. It's semantic warfare. But what it comes down to for me is just good music. This is a pretty rare record by a band called the Count 5, called Psychotic Reaction. And it's a great garage track. It's sort of proto-punk. And the only way I knew to look for this record was because the Sex Pistols had a bootleg called Psychotic Reaction where they had covered this song in a set, and that was the only way that I knew it. This is a pretty rare record. The Beastie Boys' first 12-inch single from '85. She's on It was Slow and Low. She's on It's not on License to Ill. It's not that great a song. It's when they're making that transition from being a punk rock to a rap group with rock influence. I got this when I was living in Providence, so I want to say it was around 1988 I got this. And even though it's from '85, and I think it was pretty rare by '88, there's always some nitwit that doesn't know what they're losing. So, I got this from a friend who was like, yeah, here, if you want to buy this record, it's $3 or whatever. When I first started the Andre the Giant Has a Posse sticker campaign, I was listening to a lot of stuff. Really, hip-hop had become the new punk rock for me. Public Enemy, Ice-T, NWA. I made that sticker in the summer of 1989, and the use of the word posse was inspired by Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, Ice-T. In fact, the line from Ice-T's Power, I'm living large as possible, posse unstoppable, was one of the things that made me embrace that. But it was also just skateboard slang. We were all, sticking a toe into black culture and saying like, hey, we're gangster, we're bad, and using the word posse was sort of a dangerous affectation culturally. There weren't Malibu's Most Wanted hadn't come out yet, and in a sense, I loved the rebellion of hip hop, but I still felt like it was a little bit taboo to be a white guy and saying I'm down. I used to listen to this record a lot, both when I was screen printing my posters by myself in my garage or in my studio, and also to go out to put posters up, because it just starts off with this Queen sample from We Will Rock You, but it's sped up and it's intense. It says, walk in stalking in my big black boots. And I was just like, I want to go out and do some stuff that I'm not supposed to do. It hyped me up. And there's certain records that, lyrically and sonically can do that to you. When I had a Discman, I used to put Takes a Nation of Millions in there and go out and just be fearless. I've been arrested 16 times. You can get in trouble for doing art, so every time I would feel like, okay, I want something that just makes me feel like I'm not thinking about the police, I'm just thinking about the task at hand, crushing it. This is an exceptionally rare record. It's basically the Gilligan's Island theme song played to Stairway to Heaven by Little Roger and the Goosebumps. And the guy that gave it to me, who just knew I was a big fan of music and knew I'd done some stuff for Led Zeppelin, he said that the day this came out, he went to the record store to get it because a friend had told him that it was coming out. I think they were a local band. This was from 1978. And shortly after that, Led Zeppelin found out about it and sued them, and all the copies were pulled. He thinks there's probably no more than 500 copies out there. But I'd call this maybe the first mashup, because sung perfectly like Robert Plant sings Stairway, it's the Gilligan's Island theme song. And you've probably heard Jimmy Fallon do his Neil Young version of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. This was miles ahead of that. I've always collected records and had a lot of records just because I'm a music lover. And on the weekends, I'd hang out with my girlfriend, later my wife, and we'd just flip through records, throw them on the turntable, drink a glass of wine, drink a beer, and listen to music. But DJ Diabetic and MC Insulin were joke names that my coworkers gave me because I was always in my office bumping Ice Cube or something, singing. And when I did actually start DJing, the name DJ Diabetic stuck. Being a type 1 diabetic, I'm not supposed to eat sugar, so it's DJ Diabetic, skipping the jelly, bringing the jams. In '99, I was approached about a documentary that was in the works called Scratch, about DJ culture. And I befriended the producers and the director, and eventually some of the DJs included in the doc. And in working on that project, I met Qbert, I met DJ Z-Trip, I met DJ Shadow. And you know, these were people that I love to talk to about music because I love their music. And I was fascinated to just hear about their creative process. So when they saw how much I loved music, they encouraged me to start DJing. I was told, hey, you've got a great record collection, you know music really well. All you have to do is learn how to beat match, BPM your records, learn how to mix, and you know, you can go out, and the most important thing is being a good selector. So I didn't go through a rigorous period of training and honing my skills. I just jumped right in, and I think that because I wasn't technically the most amazing DJ right away, I didn't get shake your rump nights anywhere, but I did get a lot of opportunities to play the music I loved, and like everything, practice yields improvement. So soon enough, I think that I got to be a pretty solid DJ. And I think the ultimate mark of my improvement as a DJ was DJ Z-Trip hearing me after I'd been doing it for a couple years and saying, you've gotten really good, do you want to open for me sometime? The Dead Kennedys were really important to me. I actually got this record first, Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. Is the second one I got. I got Plastic Surgery Disasters is like the third punk rock record I got. Great record, so is this one. I got all the Dead Kennedys to sign this after Jello was no longer part of the band. And when Jello came here to my house and stayed right on this couch when we were working on a project together, I said, will you sign my record, my Dead Kennedys record? And he said, I'm not signing that one. It's got all these other guys on there who I don't relate to anymore. So the good thing was, during the night, Jello Biafra being a night owl, during the night he went through some of my other records, found the Life Sentence Bleed For Me 12-inch, which is, Bleed For Me is maybe my all-time favorite Dead Kennedys song, and he doodled on it and wrote, if I'd only listened to Shepard Fairey, Jello Biafra, obey. You know, one of the things that I loved about spinning vinyl was that you had to work hard to get certain things. And the idea of DJing as an art form where you want to play things that people might recognize, but also pepper in things that are really novel, and that tension and that rhythm between the two. And, you know, there's good stuff that was hard to find. There's obscure stuff that's good that you ought to introduce people to. And it all just felt a little bit more tangible with vinyl. Now it's easy to go online and find virtually anything. And I love DJing with Serato because I can create my own remixes and my own edits of things. But yeah, there's something special before Serato about just being able to say, I got this stuff and I worked for it. I am critical when it comes to album art, and when there's an album that's a great album, like the first Snoop record, and the art is so bad, not even in really a kitsch way can I say this art's okay. That art is just bad. It's too good a record to have art that's that bad.